Well, hey everyone, happy Monday to you. This is Mike Zito, and welcome to the 2020 Galaxywide Songwriters Workshop. It is funded in part by the Bart Howard Foundation and the ASCAP Educational Department Services. And I'm very thankful to be here with you again this week. I hope that you're being safe and doing well and taking care of yourself and your loved ones. Bart Howard was one of the American great songwriters who wrote Fly Me to the Moon, among others, and What a Feather in Your Cap, one of the all-time great American songs. And what we're doing on this workshop here is we're working with different songwriters, especially this year that I'm hosting. So some of the songwriters and artists we're working with are more in the roots and blues and maybe Americana genres. And today we have a wonderful guest who is a multiple blues music award winner and has won for Song of the Year. He's a dear friend of mine. He's based out of Chicago. His name is Nick Moss. And let's get to it. Let's talk to Nick and find out kind of what makes him tick with writing songs. All right. Well, welcome to the 2020 Galaxy-wide Songwriters Workshop. And I have a really good friend of mine and an excellent musician, an award-winning songwriter musician from Chicago, Mr. Nick Moss. Hi, Nick.
Hello, Michael.
You look lovely today. It's good to see you.
Oh, man, it's good to be seen. It's good to see you.
And I mentioned you're in Chicago. You've born and raised in the Chicago area, right?
In the greater Chicagoland area, yes.
Yeah, that's great. So I was bragging a little bit on our intro. How many albums do you have? You've been making music a long time.
I want to say 13, but I think it's 14.
Yeah. And out of those 13 or 14, do all of them include like original songs that you wrote, or did that come along the way?
Every recording that I've done, CD or album, whatever you want to call it, has been probably 80 to 90% original material.
Original material, yeah. And so, and you've had quite a bit of success. So for people that, this workshop is kind of geared towards, well, anyone, but with the thought that maybe somebody's watching and they've never written a song before and they just want to write a song. Do you remember, like, when did you start to write your own songs? Like, how old were you?
You know what? I can remember just being a kid and making up songs. Just, I don't know. I mean, I ran around the house. I loved music. I got into music early just because my parents were music lovers, and my brother was my first guitar hero, watching him play. And I just, I don't know, probably just running around the house just making up stuff,
Yeah, sure.
And I think probably putting pen to paper, maybe, when you're a teenager, young teenager, adolescent, some sort, and you're in love with some girl.
Yeah,
you gotta write something down. You gotta write something down, and I don't know. Yeah. Probably something similar to that.
So it just seemed like necessary that you write your own songs. Like you never really thought about it. It's just like, well, that's what I do. I'll write my own songs.
I think there was a little bit of, I like the songwriting, the thought of songwriting. Like, I think one of the first things that struck me about music was the stories being told in music. I grew up listening to a lot of music because of my mom. There was a lot of soul music, there was folk music, there was blues music, there was rock and roll. And like all my favorite music is just the stories in the songs. And I think that's where I came up with the idea to start making up my own songs in my head as a kid running around the house.
Yeah.
And so that was already just an idea. Like, I like making up stories,
Right.
I mean, I was one of those kids that when I was in school, in grade school, I told my fourth grade teacher that I had more brothers and sisters than I actually did, and that I was born in a different country. I made up stories anyways. I was one of those, I don't know, goofy
You're
kids that
very
had just like a
creative.
lot of, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it. Yeah.
So, of course, I know you as a great guitarist, but for people that, maybe are watching, I mean, you've been playing the guitar since fairly young age, and that's kind of your instrument of choice, right?
Yeah, I started as a bass player out of necessity. Actually, my brother's necessity, because I kept taking his guitar, and he decided that he needed a bass player and I should leave his guitar alone. So he bought me a bass, and I was a bass player for a bunch of years. And I still think I'm a better bass player than guitar player. I love playing bass. I don't get called to play bass too often, but I love playing bass. But yeah, I've been playing since probably 10, 12 years old, but I've been
Yeah.
professionally since I was 18.
So when you wrote these songs, I mean, they were written with the guitar in mind. That was kind. I mean, that was kind of your instrument that you would write your songs on, or did you write them on a piano also, or was it
No,
most?
I don't play piano. So I dabble in piano keys, like,
Yeah.
but no, everything is written on the guitar. Everything comes, as far as songwriting process goes. It varies from song to song, from recording to recording. I'll be the first to tell you that I am a procrastinator of the first degree,
Okay.
and so I have to have a project in mind. I have to say I'm going to record something before I'm going to write songs. I can't write songs and go, hey, I got all these songs, I'm going to record some. No, I have to go, I'm going to record something. And then I wait and 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 I wait. And then like 2 weeks before the recording date goes, oh no. And then my mind just kicks into gear, my brain kicks into gear, and I think I work way better under pressure. I used to tell my football coach the reason that I'm lazy at practice is because I'm a gamer coach.
I'm a gamer.
And I'm a
Yeah.
gamer coach. I used to be, I was, uh, all area, all conference football player, but you'd never know it if you saw me at practice because I was the gamer coach.
He's the
And
gamer.
that's how I am in my writing. I'm a gamer. But
And I
give me
think that's
pressure.
more common than not. I too feel the same way. When I have a project in mind, then I start to kind of but I don't necessarily just get to sit around and write songs if I don't have some kind of motivation. So my point about asking guitar is, so do you start with the music, or do you start with the lyrics, or do you have like what kind of starts you off when you write a song, or any of the other?
Again, any variable. It could be I'm just sitting in my living room playing my guitar, and some line comes up that I play, some groove comes up that I play, some chord progression. Although in blues, chord progressions are pretty similar all the way around, but even humming some kind of melodic line or something that just came out of the blue. Sometimes I'll wake up with something in my head. A
So
lot
what?
of times it's lyrics come first, and then I write around the lyrics.
Okay.
Um,
So now when you write around the lyrics, does that sometimes change the blues format?
it does. Sometimes it changes the blues format. Sometimes um, it changes the whole song until it. Oh, one second. One
It's
second.
okay. We love animals.
That's all right.
We love
The
animals.
lovely. That's the lovely Miss Kate coming back from her early morning run, trying to make her husband look bad because she's in way better shape.
They all are than the husband. Trust me. So
Well,
when one of the questions we seem to get a lot is, you said you made up stories, so like,
yeah.
so not all of your songs are personal. Sometimes you get an idea, what do you write about?
Okay, so here's what I do. I do have a lot of songs that are very personal to me. I have a lot of songs that are made up. However, when I make up a song, I have to find what is personal to me about it.
Yeah, okay. Because you're going to be
And
singing it.
right. And even if I make up a scenario, I know that somewhere in my life I have something similar to it,
Hmm.
or I know someone that's gone through this, and I make that that's how it gets personal to me. I mean, there are so many things that I've made songs around, things that my father has said, things that friends have said, things that I've read in the newspapers, things that I've seen on TV, in the news. I mean, you know, I don't know what it's like to be, black, or grow up the way black people grow up and have the feeling that we're seeing right now,
Sure.
especially right now. And even though it's been going on forever, but in your hometown in St. Louis, you
Hmm.
know, when that tragic event occurred a few years ago, and they were rioting down there and I remember, Ledbetter was in the band, and I wrote this song, and I was like, I don't even know how to put this down to paper. And I said, and I remember talking to Mike, like how he felt about it, and he kind of explained, how he felt about things. And I've been around enough of my friends that have told me what it's like to grow up and be looked at and treated the way they've been treated. And so I have some of that background, and I wrote that song Shade Tree. And that is as far away from me as it could be, but I
Right.
somehow tried to make it as personal to me because I could empathize, I could feel, and just talking to, like I said, to Mike about how he was feeling about it, and that's how that song came about. But other songs, um, I just, again, I try to make it as personal to me as possible.
Yeah.
Um, I have so many. I mean, I've driven by churches. Here's a good tip for Pooh, especially in the South. Drive by any Baptist church and look on the marquee. They have the best sayings ever.
Yes, they do. I agree.
The high cost of low living, that came off a church marquee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere down in Georgia, driving past a Baptist church, I saw that. You know, God charges. There's a high cost for low living. There's, I don't even. There's been so many. I think actually on the album, The High Cost of Low Living, there's at least 4 songs that I got from titles off of Baptist church marquees.
That's
And I
fantastic.
just thought about those titles, and I'm like, okay, all right. And I started thinking about what that meant. Maybe it didn't mean what they were talking about, but what would that mean to me?
Right, right. So really, you've got your eyes open, your ears open, you're paying attention. Even though you say you're a gamer, you're still always taking in and
Oh
observing,
yeah,
which is what I find with a lot of everyone I've interviewed on the songwriters, kind of always paying attention. Uh,
absolutely.
even when you're not thinking about, I got to write something, there's always something that's kind of showing itself to you. So you mentioned blues, and I think that's interesting. One of the things we talked about was, like, if you can remember when you wrote your first songs, so someone that's
Hmm.
never wrote a song, like we've kind of discussed several times, using blues or like simple country 3 chord progression sometimes can be a really good, it can be a good place to start. One thing I've explained is, like, say, if they just want to learn how to make a phrase and then make it rhyme. So you could make it would be easy to write a very bad blues song. It's also very difficult to write a very good blues song with that simple format, don't you think?
Absolutely. And here's where people go wrong. One of the things that I learned over the years, and one of the things I really pay attention to when writing a song. The first thing is too many syllables. Do not write more than a mouthful. If you have to rush words to get the line in, you got too many words.
Yeah.
You have to edit. Learn how to edit.
Right. Okay.
Sing a song that you can sing to the beat and to the melody without having to rush in all those words that you want to get in there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
I hear songs like that constantly.
Yeah.
And it drives me nuts. Also, try not to get too heady. Try not to get right from your heart, right from your chest, right from your emotion and your experience. But too much is too much.
Yeah.
You don't need to overstate things. The best songs, to me, are sometimes just 3-verse songs.
Yeah. And
even two verse songs I've heard
fairly
like
simple,
still love.
like you said, not so heady, very easy to relate to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Try, I think that there are some people that can write a very heady song that there's just layer after layer after layer, and you'll never know what they mean. And there's those songwriters that are like, oh, I'm not going to tell you what it means. It's up to you to interpret, whatever. I kind of think they don't know what it means, but anyways,
maybe true.
when they say that, or maybe they do, and maybe it's so personal to them that they just had to get it out, and okay, however you take it is how you take it, and I respect that too. However, I think that the best songs, most of the best songs, are just songs that are easy to take in, just
right.
And they might not necessarily mean the same to you as it to the song, or as it did to the songwriter. Also, even if it's short. However, just when you write too much,
Sure,
you're just putting too much. It's like filling a garbage bag. Just why? Yeah, keep it simple. Exactly.
Simple. That's great advice. That's fantastic advice. Our workshop is funded by the Bart Howard Foundation, and Bart Howard was the writer of many great songs, but his most famous is "Fly Me to the Moon."
Mm-hmm.
So I always bring that up, and everything you were just saying, like, so applies to that song, "Fly Me to the Moon" and "Let Me Play Amongst the Stars." Like, what just great, simple lyrics that are such memorable lyrics,
Just beautiful lyrics, beautiful imagery. Just what the emotion he's trying to say, how he feels when he's singing this, why he's saying what he's saying. I mean, I think people are afraid to put their heart on paper sometimes, and then there are people that are not afraid to put their heart on paper, and then they just spill everything onto it. And just
TMI.
relax, take a deep breath, be convincing, can be emotional, be true, be yourself, say what you want to say, but make sure that you can say it in a concise way. Again, that's my number one pet peeve. I mean, I can almost get by with having too much, but when you try to cram in words,
sure,
to a song, to a line, it just drives me nuts.
Great, right from your heart, and edit and try to see, get it down to the real meaning without so many words. That's great. Yeah. Great advice.
I'm constantly editing right to the point where I'm singing the song in the recording booth.
Right.
Sometimes hold on a sec. I got to take that word out, or I got to find a word that's smaller that means the same thing. So, something. I'm constantly doing that.
That's great. So one more thing before we go. You had a really, of course, we've had our pandemic, but that's why we're doing this. But you had a great year as far as you did win, I believe, 3 Blues Music Awards. Is that correct?
I did. Wait, hold on. Uh-oh.
Congratulations.
Are they back there? Can you see them back there?
I do see them. Yes. Oh, they're
All right,
beautiful.
then, buddy.
Good for
They're
you.
back there.
Tell us. So one that that you won was for Song of the Year, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
What was the song title?
It was called Lucky Guy. I mean, that one was one I did not expect to win. I thought if I was going to win one for a song, there was another song on the album, and I wrote actually about Mike Ledbetter called The Comet, and maybe that was a little too heady, maybe a little too inside for people that didn't know Mike, but this one was very relatable. It was, and I'm sure you can relate about it. I wrote this about being married to a wonderful woman, being married to my wife. I mean,
Yeah.
everything that you know, everything in the song is like, I must be a lucky guy, and basically it was real easy because it wrote itself. Because everywhere I go, everywhere I went, since I've been with my wife, some guy likes to point out when they see me and my wife together, how did that happen? You must be a lucky guy.
I know the feeling. Yes. Yes. We are lucky guys. That's awesome. So you won that award. Do you pick the song? Do like do they just pick the song, or does someone submit the song? Like did they decide that was
That was Alligator, and I'm sure Bruce picked it.
okay? So it was your record label that kind of
Yeah,
chose which one they would submit. Oh, that's good.
yeah.
So that's I think, of course, always winning. We don't make music to win awards, but winning an
Right.
award is always a great feeling, of course. And I think winning the Song of the Year is one of the most prestigious awards you could take home. I think it's a really important one for an artist. I'm sure you were.
My dog. By the way, that's my dog drinking. That's not my wife who just walked by. She's not drinking. God, Pork Chop's going to town on the water bowl here. Sorry
so
about
my
that.
question is, after winning an award like that I mean, that must, like you just said, you have a song that's you thought was very much more maybe personal, dramatic,
Mhm.
emotional, and then you have this song that wrote itself that's more simple and relatable. And so,
Yeah, absolutely. So that's like a perfect example of like r- write something that's relatable. Write something. I mean, I'm not saying don't write something that is only personal to you, because like I said before, there are plenty of artists out there that have written such personal songs that most of us are like, what's he talking about, or what's she talking about?
sure.
And they're still beautiful songs. They're still like, if for some reason you can feel what they're saying and more than understand. However, songs that are relatable are always going to be the songs that are memorable, and people are going to be able to sing along to them. People are going to You're going to find, I still get people like sending me messages going, hey, I found myself singing Lucky Guy in the car today, or you know
Yeah. So,
hey, I'm a lucky guy too.
so my
Someone will
question
yell
is,
that to me.
after knowing this and telling me this, and then of course winning this prestigious award, will this affect your next songwriting? Or do you try to let that go and just get back to a place of honesty and start over again? Like, or will you feel like pressure or like, oh, I gotta write
Nah, I've never been like that. It's, I feel pressure in other areas of my life, but for some
something.
reason, like music has never been one of those things. Like,
Right. Well, this was a
I'm,
great
yeah,
episode, by the way. And everyone seems to present itself with something, and yours has been great. Keep it simple and write things, and then maybe go back and edit what you write.
yeah,
See if you could maybe take it
definitely,
down to the best simple line to get you, but still get the point across.
absolutely. I mean, in everything, that is like the one of the biggest things that I've heard in everything. I'm talking about not only songwriting, but people that are authors, people that write movie scripts, even
Yeah.
people that direct movies. they'll all say the most important step is editing. The
Yeah.
most important step is editing. Go back and edit. Reread, edit, reread, edit, reread, edit. Play along with it. Does it sound right? Can I sing it correctly while I'm playing it? After I sing it, record it once. Listen back to yourself. Play it for someone. Sing it to someone. Say it to someone. How does this sound? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does it sound like I'm rushing? Edit, edit, edit.
That's great advice. That's wonderful. So, Nick, if anybody wants to check out your Lucky Guy album, they can get it, I guess, at Nick Moss. Is it nickmossband.com? Is that right? I think that's right.
You know what? You can find me just Nick Moss or nickmossband.com. They'll find me.
Get a CD from you, and
Yeah,
and you can find
Alligator,
it for 'em.
Amazon,
Okay.
Apple. It's all up there.
Well, man, thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful, lucky day.
Oh, I hope you do too, you lucky guy, you.
So we always learn something in every episode, don't we? I think Nick brings up some really great points, and one is to edit. Just because you maybe you get your idea together, and this is what you're going to write about. You're going to write about the love of your life, or your dog. Maybe your dog is the love of your life. And you decide what you'll write about, and you start to get some ideas, and you start to write some lines and some lyrics, and they start to make sense. But you're not sure. Maybe you haven't written a song before, or to go back through and edit. Is it too many words? Maybe you're trying to write a song, or you're not really a singer or a musician, and so you're not sure. Listen to some music. Listen to some of the great songwriters. And I always bring this up, but listen to "Fly Me to the Moon." Listen to the way the words phrase over the music. There's never too many words, like Nick said. They're always the right amount of words to get the point across almost perfectly. So there we go. The lesson I've learned today is you don't have to, we're not committed to what we write down when we immediately write it down. We're not stuck with it. We can go back and change it and make it better and refine it. And I think that's what the craft is all about. I hope that you're enjoying this. Thank you again to the Bart Howard Foundation. Thanks to Nick Moss. Make sure you check out his music on Amazon, Spotify, Apple Music, or please go to Nick Moss or nickmossband.com and buy an actual physical copy from the man himself. All right, we'll see you next week. Peace.